Hi all, and thank you for attending the third webinar in our Office 365 webinar series. The topic for our webinar today is Office 365 Power Tools. So the presenters for the webinar today are going to be me, myself, Sherry Rajani, that's Sherry for short, and Nuruddin Sarani or Noor. My background is in sales and marketing. I am one of the founders of Code Creators. Noor is our other founder. His background is about 30 years he's spent in technology, with a lot of focus on Office 365 and SharePoint. We usually start the webinars to tell you a little bit about us. Code Creators is a Canada-based provider of software and IT consulting services. We've been operating for about over 10 years with offices in Canada, US, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan. We have a really large team of developers working on a range of different technologies. Some of the services we provide include website development, mobile app development. We do a lot of work in SharePoint development. We have a team of resources placed pretty much all over the world with our clients, helping them do development. We also do a lot of work in custom software development projects, data warehousing, where we create data warehouses, provide ETL services. We also do a lot of work in Power BI consulting and Internet of Things development. Noor, I'm gonna pass it over to you to start.
Sure. Hi guys, this is Noor, and as today's webinar is all about power tools for Microsoft, so we are going to cover four topics in this specific webinar. First one is Microsoft Forms, then we will go to Microsoft Flow, Power Apps, and Power BI. So we are going to learn end to end how to create forms, flow, Power Apps, and using Power BI to actually back up all those things. So we are going to poll number one. Bilal, will you please?
About 65% said yes.
Oh, so 65% of the people actually using Office 365, and there are 35% of the people who are not using. So we are going to see, hopefully, both of them are actually being benefited from this specific webinar. So Microsoft Power Platform, Microsoft Power Tools are based off of three things. Number one is Power Apps, number two is Microsoft Flow, third one is Power BI. And there is Microsoft Forms also, which is not part of the Power Platform, but it is being used by quite a few firms to help them in different kind of data gathering activities. So primarily, Microsoft Power Platform connects with three areas. Number one is data connectors. When we say data connectors, so you can connect Power Apps, Flow, and Power BI with different kind of application. Like if you want to connect it with Salesforce, if you want to connect it with some other Oracle-based database, or if you want to connect it with some other CRM, so you can use data connectors for that. Then common data services for apps, you can use Office 365 and other apps. So, for example, there are quite a few things which is core built in Microsoft Office 365. You can connect with those areas. And then you have Microsoft own application which includes Office 365, Dynamics 365, and so around apps which is built on Microsoft platforms only. So data can come from any of these three sources, and you can also push data to any of these three sources. And in the middle of the power tools, you have Azure, which you can use. So we are going to use these things end to end. So Power Platform, so number one, benefit of using Power Platform, Power Tools is you don't need to do any coding to build apps. So you can create web-based forms without coding. You can create apps which can work on both iOS and Android without coding. You can create reports without coding, and you can like create workflows without coding. So you don't need to code a single line to create all those things which we have discussed. And all without code thing will work on all modern web browsers and mobile devices. There is a built-in authentication authorization module available. So Microsoft Office 365 authentication authorization module will be used. And you can connect to heterogeneous data sources, which we already discussed that you can connect to different data sources. And you can, if you want to use some data sources, which is in your on-prem, when we say on-prem, that means if you have Access database on your desktop, you can actually push that data through data gateways, which is available with the Power Platform. First tool which we are gonna learn is forms, and primarily why we create forms and what exactly how you can work with forms. You can create forms by dragging, dropping. Like if you want to create text fields, you can just drag drop. If you want to create drop downs, you can just drag drop, and you can create forms within like uh, minutes, if not seconds. Then you can provide once you created the form, you can provide the link to the audience. So, for example, if I'm creating a form which is employee evaluation form, I can quickly create a form and I can share the link with my audience. And then finally, once your form is created, we can analyze the report through Excel. So we can download Excel and we can even use it in Power BI too. We will see how to do it end to end practically. Then Power Apps. So mobile apps are like next future, and right now quite a few users are using their mobile phones for data entry and stuff like that. So desktops are being used less and less, and mobile devices are being used more and more. So through Power Apps, you can create your mobile apps, which is connected to data at the back end, and you can create those things without any code and within like minutes. You can also leverage the facilities provided in mobile phones, which like you can play videos, take photos, and use like scan barcodes using the Power Apps. Then there is another thing which is called Flow. You can create a flow with drag drop, and like for example, if you want to do, if someone actually posts on your Twitter feed, and if you wanted to push that thing to other places, you can do using Flow. So Flow has a built-in capability of workflow. You can just drag drop arrows and you can create flow like that. Flows are event driven. When we say event driven, so for example, if there is a list in the SharePoint, and if you want that whenever someone enters any data in that SharePoint list, an approval flow will automatically run. You can do that. Then there is a run logic on a schedule. You can do that. You can like uh, run applications based on like hourly basis or something like that. Then you can create, primarily you actually create flows to automate your business processes. So for example, document approval is one example. You can create automating the flow. Then there is Power BI. When we say talk about Power BI, Power BI is a full-fledged reporting database tool, and it actually does ETL. When we say ETL, that means extract, transform, and load. So you have different sources like Excel, SQL, Oracle. You can gather data from different sources, transform that data based on your requirement, and load that data to Power BI platform. Once data is loaded, you can do modeling. And modeling is primarily used for relationship building. You can drag, drop, and create a relationship and build reports with and dashboards with drag, drop only. And finally, once you're done with your dashboard, you can publish that dashboard on your Power BI platform on the cloud. So we are going to go for point number two. Can you share the results once we are done?
67% said yes.
So 67% of people actually use forms, and we are going to do a practical example of form. We are going to create a form and connect it with Excel and create Power BI thing over there. So for creating forms, what we're going to do is we are going to come to forms. There are two ways of doing it. We can directly come to office.com and click on forms, and it will lead us to this specific page. So for creating form, what we can do is we can click on new form, give the title to the form. For example, this is uh, employee evaluation, and this evaluation is for example, managers only. We can add new items. So for adding new item, we have these basic things available over here, and we can select more from here also. So for example, if I want to add a text box question over here, and if we want to ask full name, that this is a required question. We can add more questions like this. So for example, I need a choice question over here. The first question is full name. The second question is, for example, department. And department is either admin, accounts, or development. So I can just create a form by dragging, dropping. I can move the places over up and down. And once I'm done with my form, I can share that very form with the public. I can just copy this thing and paste it over here. As soon as I paste that thing, you can see the form is appearing over here. If I actually type the data and submit, you can see that that form result will be available over here in responses section, and I can also download that Excel. So forms we primarily create for users, for our audience, so they can fill that form and we can use that data for our reporting and stuff like that. So we have created a form already, and the form name is employee evaluation form. And this form has full name, job level, and then we have star rating, quality of. This is employees' own evaluation. And what we are going to do is we're going to use this data to create a Power BI report. So let us look at the data first. So this is the data which is available, right? So, and it has the star ratings and stuff like that. And we are going to use this data in our Power BI. So for Power BI, there are one of two ways we can create reports. Either we download Power BI desktop, or we can also work on the cloud version of Power BI too. So what we have to do is you have to click on Power BI, and this is the cloud version of Power BI where we can create the reports. I'm going to use the desktop version, and for using desktop version, first thing is get data. I clicked on Excel as my result is on Excel, and I can click on the form which I wanted to use, and I clicked open. As soon as I click open, you can see that it is showing us that there are two places, sheet one and table one. So whenever we work with any power tools, it is a must that the Excel contains tables. So when we say table, that means that this is ID, this is name, and if I create ID1 and name is Noor. So insert and insert, we have an option with the name of table. So it is mandatory whenever we work on any power tools. So we use tables. Only then you can use that specific spreadsheet on your power tools. So in the same fashion, we have a table over here in this spreadsheet, and when we open that Excel workbook, Power BI is asking that which table we want to use. Our table name is table one. We can see the data over here, and we just click load. So as soon as we load the data, Power BI processes the data, and that data is available. You can see over here. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create a couple of charts out of that data, which we have created in Microsoft Forms, right? We have created a Microsoft form, and that form we actually shared with audience, and audience actually filled data, and out of that data we are creating the dashboard or report. So for creating a report, I just need to click on chart, and once I click on chart, you can see that field list is coming over here. What I want is that I wanted to calculate the average rating for the specific department. So average rating for job knowledge department wise. I just click on department and I click on job knowledge. You can see that there is a department of job knowledge chart is coming over here. What I wanted to do is I want this specific charts. These charts are actually showing us some, but we wanted to actually look at averages. What we can do is we can click on job knowledge, and instead of sum we are going to use average. So now you can see that in admin department job knowledge is 2.87, in finance department 3.09, and in development 2.82. So based on the employee evaluation, we have a chart department-wise knowledge, and we can see that how people are performing based on their knowledge. We can also look at the chart in a different way. So I inserted another chart over here, and now I'm selecting job level. So we have different job levels, and I wanted to see that what is the management capacity of those job levels, and I'm going to do the ability average, and you can see that juniors rated themselves 3.77 in management ability, and it's a strange thing that manager actually rated themselves 2.69 in the management level. Once I'm done with my dashboard, what I can do is I can publish this dashboard to the cloud so other people can use that. We have a button of publish over here. I clicked on publish. It's asking us to save. I said employee evaluation form v2 save, and I've saved this specific report, and it's asking where I wanted to save the report. I'm going to save the report in my workspace and select. So as soon as it is published, it will show me a message success. Now I'm coming to Power BI, and you can see that I have dashboards and reports and things like that available over here. So you can see that employee evaluation version 2 is available over here. When I click on this specific report, you can see it is showing us two charts. One chart is related to average of job level by department. Other one is average of management ability by job level. So we can create, you can see that we can create forms with few clicks, and once forms are being filled by the audience, we can use that data. How we use that data? Come to responses, download the Excel, and we can push that Excel to Power BI platform. And after pushing that to Power BI platform, we can create reports out of that. And we can, once we publish those reports are available for the audience. So this is the first thing which we did. We created a form, and we integrated that form with Power BI. So Paul 3.
The split is about 50-50.
Oh. So we are talking about Power Apps, and if it is 50-50, so it's a very awesome thing, and we are going to learn a couple of tricks in coming like 2-3 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. So people are charging like thousands of dollars for creating these kinds of apps. And we are going to see how to create that kind of app in like few minutes. So for that, what we're going to do is we come to office.com, and in office.com you can see there is a button with the name of Power Apps. And when we click on Power Apps, you can see it will lead us to this specific page. So we can create apps from blank canvas. We can create model-driven apps. We can start from data, but right now, because I wanted to create an app which is fully functional, and I can tell you that these kind of apps actually people costs around thousands of dollars for creating these kind of apps. What I'm going to do is I'm clicking on all templates. So as soon as you click on all templates, it will show us the templates which is already being created by quite a few people and being used by. So training for Office is an app, meeting capture is an app, onboarding task. Onboarding, if you have worked on onboarding, this is a hell of a task, and people actually definitely require this application. Then there is an app with the name of Help Desk. So Help Desk is also a requirement of companies. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to create a Help Desk app within minutes using Power Apps. So for that, what I did is that I was here, I just clicked on all templates. As soon as I click on all templates, shown me all the templates. I clicked on help desk and create. So once I click on create, it will open a new window and do some processing for Power Apps. And once it is being processed, it will show me a fully functional app which have all this required screen for that specific function. So you can see that we have this bug tracker, site inspection, service desk, innovation challenge, fundraiser, leave request. So these are all the commonly used apps in any organization. Out of Office, PDF reader, so you name it, and the app is available in Microsoft Office platform. So my app is being built. You can see that Office Online is building the app for me for free. So once the app is done, what we can do is there is a play button. As soon as we click on play button, the app will appear on your mobile like this, and we can do login as help desk user or login as admin. So I'm going to login as help desk user. You can see that tickets may come over here. I can click on add. As soon as I click on add, you can see that add ticket is appearing over here. So I'm going to title this thing laptop not working, for example. And category is, I have different categories over here. I'm going to select PC issue, and priority is high, and description, when I turn on the laptop, nothing is appearing. For example, I'm going to create this ticket, and this ticket is being submitted. You can see that this specific ticket is available over here, and the users can download this app on their mobile apps, and they can just add tickets like this within no time. So, for example, mouse not working, mouse roller is not smooth enough. So this app is created without any code, with a few clicks. You can see that it is a full functional app. When I log out, I also have a help desk admin option available. We can go to a help desk admin and go do perform apps. So this is the pre-created app thing. What else we can do is we can create our own app uh, on data-driven app with a few clicks also. So we are going to see how we create our own data-driven app. So for creating our own data-driven app, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a workbook, or I can see actually how our workbook looks like. So I'm coming to OneDrive. So in OneDrive, I have a couple of workbooks available, and I'm going to use one of the workbook. So for example, there is a workbook with the name of Team List. I just clicked on that workbook. You can see this workbook is open, and this workbook have two columns. One is first name, another one is last name, and I'm going to use these two columns to create an app. So for creating an app out of some data, we have start from data option available. But mind you, there are quite a few people actually face an issue. So if this sheet is open, you cannot create app out of this, or app will not actually show the data. So you have to close this app. I just click on start from data and create. As soon as I click on create, it will ask me that where my data resides. So my data in this case is residing on OneDrive. So I will actually select OneDrive for my data. So it's processing. Quite a few options which is loading. So I can select from common data services, SharePoint, SQL Server, or I can choose OneDrive. So I wanted to create a phone layout, and I clicked on OneDrive. Once I click on OneDrive, you can see all the files are coming over here, and our file name was team list. I clicked on team list, and I clicked on connect. Just so as we have discussed that the table should be created in the file only then you can use that specific Excel file on your Power Tools. I clicked on connect, and once I click on connect, you can see it will create an app for me with available feature of editing and deleting records and adding new records, and I can actually publish that app and anyone from my organization can use this app. So the previous app was automatically created by Office, and this app is created out of data. So you can see that this specific app is coming over here. I've played this app. I can search, for example, I search Shahryar, so it can search for the data and show me the data. If I select Raj Ali, so it will only show me the two records. So if I click on Shahryar, it is showing us that specific record. If I click on edit, and I make it Sherry and save it. So what will happen is it will automatically change this specific record in that spreadsheet. I'm going to add a new record. I clicked on add new record, and I'm going to add Bilal. And I save this record. So you can see now we have four records in our list. I've added a new record, that is this, and I changed the record. And now I'm going to see whether this Power App actually worked as it should work. So I'm going to go to OneDrive again. I'm going to open that very spreadsheet. This is the team list spreadsheet. So you can see that there is the new record with the name of Bilal Anwar. Shaya is now Shari Rajani. So having said that, so we have created a Power App and we see that how we can connect that thing with Excel. We have already seen that how we create a Power BI report. So we are not going to repeating that thing. And Paul 4, please.
%67 said yes.
So 67% actually people have used Microsoft Flow, and we are going to create a small flow in this specific webinar. Uh, So for that, we're going to create an approval flow. So approval flow is simple, and we can again create this flow with a few clicks on our flow application. And for going to that flow application, what we're going to do is we come to Microsoft Office. And Office.com, we have it up with the name of flow. Once you click on flow, there are commonly used flow which you can use. So I'm going to use approval flow. I wanted to create an approval flow. So whenever someone adds a record in the SharePoint list, I wanted to create an approval flow. So I added a record. Whenever anything added on SharePoint, it will go to the approval thing. I'm going to click on continue. So for that, I need two mandatory things. I have to have a site. So we're gonna go to a site. And this is our SharePoint portal, and in SharePoint portal, I'm in the site named Business Process Automation. And I'm going to create a list over here. So for creating a list, what we can do is we can click on New, and we can create list. And I'm going to give this list as a name of webinar attendees and create. What I wanted to do is whenever any attendee is added to this specific list, there is an approval flow which actually should run. I'm adding a column, which is a number column. I am telling it attendee ID, save, and I'm going to drag this column over here. And I'm changing the title name, rename attendee full name. Save. So I have a list with these two columns, attendee ID and attendee full name. And what I want is whenever any new item is created in this specific list. So for that, what we are going to do is we're going to send an email. So in Flow, I have just typed my site name. So this is my site, and I'm going to type the list name. So I have a list with the name of webinar attendees which I've created right now. Just click on this, and this specific approval is assigned to, I can type in either a variable over here, or what else I can do is I can type an email address over here. You can see that email address we have typed. So whenever any record is created on that specific list, it automatically sends an approval email to this specific email address which I have typed over here. So there is no coding whatsoever involved in this, right? So I'm coming to my SharePoint and list, and this is webinar attendee list, and I'm going to add new. So we have attendee ID 1 and choose Rani and save. So I'm going to add another record. Share attendee 2 and save. So you can see there are a couple of records which we have created over here, and out of those record you can see that there is an approval email came into my inbox. It automatically triggered, right, as soon as I've created the record. So once I clicked on that email, it is showing me that this specific email is coming from uh, Microsoft, and it is saying that do you want to approve Noor Rani, which the record which created by Noor Rani. If I click on approve, it will automatically add that thing to a list. If I reject this thing, it will not add to that list. So primarily, this is an approval workflow which we have created using Flow. So we are going to go for pulse 6.
100% mentioned they wanted to use these tools at work within the first month.
Perfect. So, so what we have learned on these things that forms is primarily it is not the app thing, but you can create forms for like large number of audience and you can collect data and you can do reporting. Power Apps is on the other hand, you can do either tablet version or mobile version. You can create apps which is like full-fledged application in which you can add, edit, delete, and search records. Then you can use Flow to actually route your data. So once any data is inserted, you can direct those data to any specific email or list or things like that. And finally, we learned how actually Power BI can help to create report. We are coming to our final poll, and that is poll 7. Sure.
50% said yes.
Okay. Perfect. So can you close the thing with a thank you note?
Of course, guys, thank you everyone for joining. Stay in touch. We're going to be launching our next webinar topic fairly soon. And if you need any help, please just get in touch with us. The easiest way to reach us is just at our email, which is help@codecreators.ca. So if you need anything, just follow up with us. We'll send an email after this as well. So if anyone needs any help, they can easily find it. Thank you everyone for your time.
Thank you guys.